This Poquoson City Council meeting is called to order. If y'all could please rise, I'll lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, we come to you tonight in prayer to express our gratitude for the many blessings bestowed upon us. We're grateful for the rights, freedoms, and the privileges, and recognize you as the source of our many blessings. As public servants, please bless us with your divine inspiration, your leadership, guidance, and direction, and help us to make wise best benefit those that we serve. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
We got another good crowd tonight. We really appreciate all y'all being here. Nice to have y'all with us. And we'll move on to item C, the audience for visitors. We have one speaker tonight, Mr. Noel Talcott. He's going to speak to us about the Colonial Soil and Conservation District. Welcome, Mr. Talcott.
Thank you. I don't want to take much time, but back in January at the pre-budget meeting, I came and I made a pitch for the city to see if they could add some funding to next year's budget. And the rationale for it is that it would enable the city potentially to become a partner with the Colonial Soil and Water Conservation District. And by doing so, that allows the city to participate in Virginia's Conservation Assistance Program. That program was available to all the counties in the state of Virginia. Unfortunately, when the soil and water conservation districts were established, they were established by county. So when the cities broke away from the counties, the cities were no longer eligible to participate. So there's two ways you can participate in that program. One, you go to Richmond and get the legislature to pass something that allows you to participate. Richmond did that. Hampton and several other cities have entered into MOUs with the Colonial Soil and Water Conservation District that allows their city then to participate. So I want to thank the city and the city manager, and especially Tanya O'Connell, for following up after my presentation and talking to the Colonial Soil and Water Conservation District, and I see that the funding is now in the proposed budget. So I hope that it's approved, and if so, then that will enable the citizens of Poquoson to participate in that program. And it's especially benefit any citizens who are installing BMP type of installations in their yards or whatever, living shorelines and all that. If they have erosion, poor drainage, or poor vegetation. The advantage of the program is it provides cost-sharing money, in some cases up to $50,000 if you're doing an extensive program. What the Colonial Soil and Water Conservation District will, they will come in and work with you to design that project with their experts, help you work out all the paperwork, and then hopefully you'll qualify for that program. So again, I commend Tanya for all that hard work. Got it in the budget. I mean, I came in at last minute. It came into the budget. And the other thing I'd like to do, if it's approved, I recommend that you invite Robin Woolsey or another participant from the Colonial Soil and Water Conservation District to come in and give you a presentation, because you need the presentation to understand what the benefits would be to the citizens. And she's got plenty of examples. And after the presentation I heard in January, we've already got a project going in York County based on that. So again, thank you. Appreciate it. I don't want to waste any more of your time, but I do appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Talcott. You're certainly not wasting our time. And please know that because of your suggestion, that is included in the budget this year. Staff researched it, included that you were right on target. So thank you for your suggestion. And it just goes to show that we do listen and encourage everybody to share ideas such as that with us.
I know times are tight, and I saw you only added 2 things to the budget, so
yes, sir.
I do appreciate this being one of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Talcott. Do we have any other speakers tonight? Okay, seeing none, we will close the floor for the audience for visitors. Item D on the agenda is recognitions. We have 2 very special recognitions tonight. The first one is directed to the Poquoson Public Library. So if I can ask our library director, Miss Jessica Hartley, to please join me at the podium. This recognition is for the Poquoson Public Library commendations and continuation of community connection. And it's somewhat lengthy, but I feel like it's necessary for Director Hartley and her staff to get full credit for all that they've done. So if you could bear with me for just a few minutes, I will read the entirety. Some pretty exceptional recognitions in here and awards. At the annual conference earlier this month, the Virginia Public Library Directors Association, otherwise known as VPLDA, provided 3 awards to the Poquoson Public Library. The awards the library received are the Award for Outstanding Programs for Adults. Library Director Jessica Hartley brought home this award for the outreach efforts to Bayside and Dominion Village. VPLDA President Jennifer Brown said, through sensory experiences that spark cherished memories, interactive activities that encourage engagement, and meaningful partnerships that reach those who benefit most, the library strengthens community bonds and enriches lives. This initiative beautifully demonstrates the power of libraries to support well-being and create moments of joy. So the second award is for unique outreach and engagement. The library's youth services team earned this award for its One Lunch partnership with the Poquoson High School Library. VPLDA president was quoted as saying, "This initiative not only strengthened relationships with teens, but also deepened connections with faculty, reinforcing the library as a vital partner in education and student engagement. Through this program, Poquoson Public Library continues to support learning, creativity, and community connection." So well done on that. The next one is the Gold Standard of Excellence Award. The library won the very prestigious award for exemplary performance across several scored public service categories: governance and administration, funding, staffing and staff development, access and services, collections, facilities, technology, programming, publicity, and advocacy. The scoring for this award is rigorous, and staff worked very diligently over the last year to achieve this goal. With support from the city manager's office and the teamwork of many other departments who assist the library year-round, the Poquoson Public Library is the only library in Virginia to win the Gold Standard Award in 2025. So I think that's worth repeating. In the entire state of Virginia, the Poquoson Public Library was the only one to win the Gold Standard Award. So that's kind of like saying Poquoson Public Library is a state champion for 2025.
We'll take it.
So congratulations on that. That's tremendous. In October, the Poquoson Public Library will be honored with a special presentation in Richmond at the Virginia Library Association Conference in October. My congratulations to the director, and all staff members for continuing to make Poquoson Public Library a distinctive and cherished part of the community. The library takes very seriously the mission of City Council by continuing the community connection with building relationships with Dominion Village and Poquoson Public Schools to ensure Council's goal of maintaining and enhancing Poquoson as one of Virginia's exceptional places to live, work, and to thrive. Tonight we take a moment to recognize their commendations and continuing community connections. So all that being said, we'll get to the recognition itself. Whereas librarians are looking beyond their traditional roles and providing more opportunities for community engagement and delivery of new services that connect closely with patrons' needs. And whereas the Virginia Public Library Directors Association annual conference was held in April 2025, with the Poquoson Public Library receiving 3 awards. And whereas the Poquoson Public Library was awarded the VPLDA Award for Outstanding Programs for Adults, and whereas the Poquoson Public Library was awarded the VPLDA Outreach Engagement Award, and whereas the Poquoson Public Library was the only library in Virginia to be awarded the VPLGA Gold Standard of Excellence Award, and now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Poquoson, Virginia, do hereby recognize the Poquoson Public Library and its staff for outstanding service to our community. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hand and caused the seal of the City of Poquoson, Virginia, to be affixed this 28th day of April, 2025. So here is your official recognition. So congratulations to you and your staff, Ms. Hartley.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for what you do for this community.
Thank you. Can we get a picture? Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank y'all. Now we'll move on to our second recognition, and this is a special honor for me, recognizing Miss Ellie Stevens. 2 years ago, when I was a Poquoson City Schools bus driver, as a 6th grader, Miss Ellie Stevens was one of my students, and I know her personally to be a fine young lady. And we are quite honored tonight to recognize her accomplishment. And again, just to be thorough, I would like to read this in its entirety. Then I'll ask Ms. Stevens to read her essay to us, and then we'll have the official recognition. Would also like to recognize her teacher, Ms. Joyce Alexander, and just a special word on Ms. Alexander, and I confirmed this with her just a few minutes ago. When I was in the 5th grade, from 1977 to 78, that was Ms. Alexander's first year teaching. So we're quite pleased to have had her for all these many decades. We also have with us tonight Ms. Michelle Gowdy, the Executive Director of the Virginia Municipal League. So if I could ask Ms. Stevens and her mother, as well as Ms. Alexander and Ms. Gowdy, to please join me at the podium. This is in recognition of the Virginia Municipal League If Our Mayor Region 8 Essay Contest winner. The Virginia Municipal League announced on April 11, 2025, the statewide winner and 7 regional winners of the league's If Our Mayor Essay Contest for 7th and 8th graders. Ellie Stevens, an 8th grader from Poquoson Middle School, was selected for the Region 8 winner. Tonight, along with the VML representative, Ms. Gowdy, We would like to recognize Ellie for her accomplishments for being selected out of 32 students in Region 8. We would also like to thank her teacher, Ms. Joyce Alexander, for ensuring students have an opportunity to participate in the contest. And just let me repeat that as well. Ellie was selected out of 32 students to receive this award, so that's quite an accomplishment. So Ellie, at this time, I'd like to turn the mic over to you so you can share your award-winning essay with us. So the floor is yours.
If I were mayor, my head would be spinning in all sorts of directions. What should I do to satisfy the citizens of Poquoson? How should I make Poquoson a secure place? Are there any problems that are unknown? I am Millie Stevens, and I have very strong opinions regarding the problems that I find in the small town of Poquoson. One of the issues that we have in Poquoson is the lack of sufficient sidewalks. This affects a large combination of people who may walk to work, school, or even around the neighborhood. Without sidewalks, we're often forced to walk on the road, which can be extremely dangerous for pedestrians. I spoke with my neighbor, Miss Paulette, who has lived in Poquoson for over 10 years. She informed me that we have to build more sidewalks and fix the ones we currently have. I agree with Miss Paulette that building more sidewalks along Little Florida and Poquoson Avenue allows children that may bike or walk to school have safe access for transportation. I brought it up with Miss Paulette, and she thinks it would make our community a much safer place for pedestrians and even possibly encourage more people to walk instead of drive. She also said that giving more crosswalks and pedestrian signals at very busy intersections would make Poquoson a much safer town. Even though I think that Ms. Paulette's ideas are quite good, I truly feel that we can do better. Along with filling and constructing sidewalks, we need to pay attention to putting in improved lighting along the sidewalks. This would be easier to walk upon, especially in the morning or at night when it is dark. This would notify walkers of sticks, rocks, or any other things that may be in their way. Also, adding green spaces and benches to the sidewalks might make walking more pleasant. This would permit more individuals to be outdoors. Poquoson is a beautiful city, and I would love to see others enjoying it as much as I do. If we all work together to maintain the beauty of Poquoson, the city will stay pleasant and enjoyable to live in. In conclusion, improving the safety and walkability of Poquoson isn't just about the infrastructure. It's about gaining a sense of community and encouraging healthy lifestyles. By enforcing these changes, Poquoson can become a model for other small towns, demonstrating that thoughtful planning and community engagement can lead to a vibrant, pedestrian-friendly environment.
Thank you, Ellie. And I'll continue on with the official recognition. Whereas the Virginia Municipal League contest each year to allow for 7th and 8th graders to submit a short essay on If I Were Mayor contest, and whereas VML asks students to identify an issue in the locality, talk to others about possible solutions, and then present the solution the student felt best addressed the issue, and whereas Ellie Stevens, an 8th grader at Poquoson Middle School, was selected as the Region 8 winner for her essay on sidewalks. And whereas Ellie wrote in her essay on how sidewalks would improve safety and walkability of Poquoson, which will gain a sense of community while encouraging a healthy lifestyle. And whereas Ellie's essay concurred with the mission of the City Council's strategic initiative to develop and implement a multi-year plan to expand sidewalks and improve pedestrian connectivity across the city. Now therefore, I, David A. Hucks, Mayor of the City of Poquoson, Virginia, do hereby recognize Ellie Stevens for being selected as VML's Region 8 winner of If I Were Mayor contest. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Poquoson, Virginia, to be affixed this 28th day of April, 2025. And this is for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ella.
Thank you.
And best wishes.
Thank you so much. Let me get a picture of you and your teacher. Hold on.
you.
That was quite an honor for all of us, and so thankful for the opportunity. And Ellie's just another example of another successful product of Poquoson City Schools. And also tonight we have with us our school board chairman, Dr. Chris Burbidge. Chris, thank you very much for being here with us. Appreciate the support. Moving on to item E on the agenda, the approval of minutes. Do we have a motion and a second? The approval of the work session of April 14th, 2025.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Questions or comments? Chris, call for a vote, please.
Vice Mayor Bunting?
Aye.
Councilman Pye?
Aye.
Councilman Southall? Councilman Freeman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Mayor Huss?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. Next is approval of the minutes of the regular session on April 14th, 2025. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Christie?
Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Councilwoman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Pye?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bunting?
Aye.
Councilman Freeman?
Aye.
Mayor Huss?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you. Next item, item F, we have a public hearing. We have three separate items, and our finance director, Ms. Tara Woodruff, has a presentation for us.
Mr. Mayor, I think we are going to, unless you would like us to reserve the presentation for the work session.
Okay, very good. Okay. That being said, we'll go ahead and open the floor for the public hearing if we have anybody like to speak with us. All right, seeing none, we will close the floor. There's no action required for that tonight. It was simply a public hearing, so we'll move on to item G, old business.
You need to do each one of them.
Okay, okay. The first item for the public hearing is the proposed fiscal year 2026 real estate property tax reading. This is the first reading. Second, we need to do the public.
Second. Do each in turn. You are.
Okay, so we will reopen the public hearing for item number one. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and move on to item number two, which is the proposed fiscal year 2026 personal property tax rate. This is the first reading as well, and we'll open the floor for public comment on that. All right, seeing none, we'll close the floor and move on to item three, proposed fiscal year 2026 annual financial plan, first reading. We'll open the floor for the public hearing. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and now we can move on to item G, old business. This is an item that was tabled at the April the 14th, 2025 City Council meeting. We tabled the request for a conditional use permit application by Gregory Shaw, applicant and owner, for the construction of a private pickleball court at 8 Rochambeau Drive, an approximate 1.42 acre parcel identified as tax map parcel 11-00-00-0060-B, zoned RS, single family residence.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution to Okay.
Okay. Just to further elaborate on that, at the April 14th, 2025 meet, City Council voted to table the request for a conditional use permit application by Gregory Shaw. That meeting, new information was supplied to City Council as it relates to the CUP. Tonight, I would like for the City Council to consider bringing the tabled matter back to the agenda with the intent to remand the matter back to the Planning Commission to afford them the ability to review the new information supplied both from the applicant and those opposing the CUP. This issue is going to take two motions. We'll need one to untable this item. We will need another motion to remand this item back to the Planning Commission. So, that being said, do we have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, we have a motion to untable.
Have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, Christie?
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bunting?
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Councilman Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Councilwoman Hubbard?
Aye.
Mayor Hugs?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
All right, thank you very much. So the issue is back on the table, and in order to remand it back to the Planning Commission, we need a motion and a second.
Mr. Mayor, I propose a resolution to remand back to the Planning Commission the conditional use permit application by Gregory Shaw, applicant and owner for the construction of a private pickleball court at 8 Rochambeau Drive, an approximate 1.42 acre parcel identified as tax map parcel 11-00-0060-B, zoned R-S Single Family Residence.
Second.
Would you mind reading the entire resolution, please, just for information for the public?
Okay.
Thank you.
Whereas a request for a conditional use permit by Gregory Shaw, applicant and owner for the construction of a private pickleball court at 8 Rochambeau Drive, an approximate 1.42 parcel identified as tax map parcel 11-01-00-0060-B, zoned R-S Single Family Resident, was presented to City Council on April 14th, 2025. And whereas a public hearing to receive public comments and review amendments to the request was held before the City Council on April 14th, 2025, and whereas the applicant and those opposing the conditional use permit provided to the City Council information that was not supplied to the Planning Commission, who recommended denial of the request by a vote of 6-0, and whereas the applicant and a representative of property owners opposed to the CUP application provided significant additional information to City Council, which was not available to the Planning Commission as part of their deliberations, and whereas it is the City Council intent to remand the conditional use permit to the Planning Commission to review the new information, and now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Poquoson, Virginia. Section 1, that the request for a conditional use permit application by Gregory Shaw, applicant and owner, for the construction of a private pickleball court at 8 Rochambeau Drive, an approximate 1.42 acre parcel identified as tax map parcel 11-00-0060-B, zoned R-S Single Family Resident, is hereby remanded back to the Planning Commission. Section 2, that this resolution shall be in effect on and after its adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Christie?
With regard to the motion,
Yes, sir.
I do. I really don't see a need to send this back to the Planning Commission. My feeling is that it would basically be telling the Planning Commission, we didn't like your answer. I didn't attend the Planning Commission meeting, but I did observe it on the recording. And I didn't see anything from our last meeting that was so large of a scale, significant additional information that it would change my mind had it been on the Planning Commission. I listened to their deliberations and what their comments were, and I thought their choice for what with all the information they needed. I also see how it's our decision as to whether to approve the conditional use permit, not theirs. I have seen, and Councilwoman Emmett knows too well, that council doesn't vote necessarily in line with what the planning commission says. So I don't see a need for this. I think we can make the decision without sending it back and sending basically a signal to the planning commission that we think you may have got it wrong, but we're not saying that. We're just going to send it back to you to see if you have any more feelings on it. That's my thoughts.
Okay, thank you, Keith. Appreciate you sharing those thoughts. Any other questions or comments? Yes,
Can
sir.
we get a second on that motion? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Yeah, we do have a motion. Second, any other comments or questions from council?
Well, I'm like Keith. I observed, I didn't watch it in person, but I did watch TV. But Keith, I'm sorry, I disagree. I think a lot of information came out during the April 14th meeting that I didn't see presented in the planning commission.
Okay, I was just saying that when I heard them deliberate and give their reasons for the way they were going to vote, I didn't see anything at our meeting that would have changed those decisions.
Okay, thank you. Thank y'all.
We're good.
Any other questions or comments? Christie, call for a vote, please.
Councilman Freeman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Inman.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilman Fye.
No.
Councilwoman Hubbard.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bunting.
Aye.
Mayor Hux.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 6.
Okay, thank you, Christie. All right, moving on to new business. The first item is an ordinance making additional appropriation and transfer of funds for fiscal year 2025 in the Capital Projects Fund and authorization for the city manager to enter into a contract with Bryant Ritter Hewitt Electric Corporation for the replacement of a traffic signal pole at With Creek Road and Victory Boulevard. We have with us tonight our city engineer, Mr. Sean Crawford. Not only is Sean a degreed engineer, he's also a licensed professional engineer, which I know from personal experience. I'm not an engineer, but worked in the engineering field for a few decades. It's a huge accomplishment to earn an engineering degree, but it's a whole separate accomplishment to become a licensed professional engineer. So
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
That being said, got to give credit where credit's due, and thank you very much for being here, Sean, and the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager, members of council. In September of last year, there was a single-car accident which occurred at the northwest traffic pole, the intersection of With Creek and Little Florida. It's a single-car incident, and they directly struck the pole. Upon learning of this, a professional engineering inspection team performed in-depth testing on the pole. While they found it wasn't an emergency to replace, they did emphasize getting it repaired and replaced as soon as possible. It wasn't found in critical condition, but it has, even though it was already towards its end of its lifespan, it did take a pretty big hit, as I'm sure all of you are aware. We recently put this project out to bid, and after placing it out to bid, the lowest responsible bidder was Bryant Ritter Hewitt Electric Corporation. Their bid was found to be aligned with current market conditions for similar projects throughout the Commonwealth. Tonight you have an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Bryant Ritter in the amount of $124,995, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this project.
Will their liability insurance repay the city?
The procurement aspect of the pole is taken care of mostly by the insurance, yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
So who pays the $1,000?
Yes, sir. $1,000 is from the city.
I can answer that, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir, thank you.
We pay the deductible, and then our insurance company attempts to get the deductible through the person that caused the accident through their insurance. Their success will be reimbursed for our deductible as well.
One final note, this will include new pedestrian signal heads as well. As I'm sure you're aware that those got broken out, so there will be new signal heads as well as new push buttons and pedestrian signal heads with this project.
Is there a time frame when it would be available, or
The current lead time for signal poles is still pushing around 6 to 8 months. With the authorization and the notice to proceed to the contractor, I would assume sometime, given spring of next year, we could look at getting this going complete.
Any other questions or comments? Well done, Sean.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion and a second for approval?
Mr. Mayor, I propose an ordinance making an additional appropriation and transfer of funds for fiscal year 2025 in the Capital Projects Fund and authorization for the city manager to enter into a contract with Bryant Ritter Hewitt Electrical Corporation for the replacement of a traffic signal pole at Wythe Creek Road and Victory Boulevard.
Second.
Thank you. Christie?
Councilwoman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Councilman Freeman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bunting?
Aye.
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Mayor Hucks?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7.
Thank you, Chris. Moving on to item number 2 under new business, we have an ordinance amending the personnel policy manual specifically for retiree health insurance coverage. We have with us tonight our Assistant City Manager, Ms. Tanya O'Connell. Presentation.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council Members, City Manager. Tonight, I bring to you policy number 43, which is our retiree health insurance, which is directly related to our OPEB fund, which is other post-employment benefit. These are the benefits that we offer to our employees who actually retire from the city. So tonight, what we have here is just a cleanup of our policies, our practice. Again, with our practice, we provide insurance to our employees based on their coverage that they've had for us for over a year, to include their dependents, to allow them to continue that coverage to bridge the gap before they turn 65. So again, with this, we're codifying our practice. There is no benefits that we're taking away from our employees, nor our retirees. But in fact, we are actually enhancing our benefit to our retirees because the city provides a health insurance credit to VRS each year to our employees. That's for them to use to pay their employees' portion. The city has taken it as a credit to the employer side portion. Therefore, we're now treating everybody equal and applying it across the board the same. So I'm here for any questions that you may have.
Well done, Tanya. Thank you very much. Do we have a motion and a second?
Mayor, I propose an ordinance amending the personnel policy manual for the city of Poquoson regarding policy 43, retiree health insurance coverage.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Christie?
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Councilman Freeman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Hubbard?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bunting?
Aye.
Councilman Fye? Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Mayor Hucks?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, Christie. Item 4 under new business is a resolution making an appointment of the deputy city clerk. Do we have a motion and a second? Let me back up to item 3 under new business. My apologies. Item 3 is a resolution making an appointment to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Do we have a motion and a second?
I'd like to move that we approve the resolution making an appointment to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board to replace me. I resigned back in December of 2024, and that left a vacant position that doesn't expire until the 26th of March 31. And so I just want to mention that we interviewed and talked with someone for that role, and approve that in that resolution be it resolved that the Council of the City of Poquoson, Virginia, under Section 1, that this following person, that's Megan Johnson, be approved to fulfill the Western Precinct role on Parks and Rec with a term expiring March 31st, 2026.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on that? Christie?
Vice Mayor Bunting?
Aye.
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Councilman Freeman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett? Mayor Hux?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you, Christie. Now we'll move on to item number 4, which is a resolution making appointment of the deputy city clerk.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution appointing the Deputy City Clerk of the City of Poquoson with the following person, Ashley Chaika. She will be replacing Christina Snap, who was recently appointed as city clerk and thus no longer to serve in that role as deputy clerk.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Chris?
Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Councilwoman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Councilman Southpaw?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bunting?
Aye.
Councilman Freeman?
Aye.
Mayor Hux? Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, and congratulations to Ashley on your new appointment. Glad to have you with us. Okay, moving on to item I. It's a work session for the recommended budget for fiscal year 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. If you've been on council prior to this year, you'll note that normally on this night in the calendar, we have had our joint session with the school board, immediately followed by a city work session. Well, we had the joint session with the school board last month. So this is kind of standing on its own. We thought that we would move it to the back of the agenda, which is somewhat unusual for us, to afford an opportunity to listen to public comment during the public hearing. If there was any that council wanted to discuss, we would be in a position to know what that was. Also, at this time, we typically update the council if there's an update from the school board. We have not received one yet, in large measure, for the second point, which is the state doesn't have a budget yet. So the two things that we would report on most likely, both of them are still in limbo as the state completes its budget work, hopefully soon. We do have one minor item which Tara will go over, but I think our intent is to review the one change on our end, provide a very quick synopsis of the budget, a short version of what we presented last time, for the benefit of those with us tonight and watching us at home. And then we'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have in terms of a budget work session discussion.
Good evening. Like Randy said, I have a very brief presentation. Starting with the changes to the recommended budget, we have one item that we received last week from the Virginia Department of Emergency Management. We have been historically receiving a grant for about $20,500. They are reducing that to $700 because the Radiological Emergency Preparedness Program, we had been noted as being a host for radiological related services, which we do not have, so they are reducing that to $700. So that is the one change that we have proposed, and in your packet, there was an adjustment, which I'll show in just a moment as well. Randy mentioned the state has not finalized their budget yet, so sometimes we have adjustments related to state adjustments, but they haven't finished, so we have none of those. And the schools have not completed any revisions to their budget. They might be affected by the state budget as well. And we went over last time what our contribution is, and the schools would have to revise their budget based on what they had planned. These are the adjustments that the $19,800, the difference between the $20,500 to $700, will reduce state revenue for the emergency management grant, as well as the public safety expenditures in the fire department for other charges. So it's a one-for-one reduction there. And this just really shows the breakdown. It's very similar to what we showed at the meeting last on the 14th of April. The only change is the $19,800 reduction in the state revenue line, and that brings us to a new general fund revenue total of $40,005,149.
Ma'am, so there's been a lot of talk on TV about federal money being cut. We have 1% of our budget roughly is federal money. I just wanted to point that out.
$8,000 is all we have in federal revenue in our budget. This slide just shows the revised general fund expenditures, which again, the only change here from last time presented is the reduction in the public safety line item for the $19,800 coming down to, again, the $40,005,149. So tonight you had the first reading of the appropriations that will come to you next time, so those will reflect the $40,005,149 with the $19,800 reduced. There are no other changes in other funds. So here you see the breakdown of all of the budgets for our debt service, capital projects fund, solid waste fund, fleet management fund, the sewer fund, and our special revenue OPEB fund. There was no changes to what we had recommended in the budget. And the next steps in the budget process at your next meeting, budget adoption is scheduled. And again, copies can be found of the budget online, at the library, in the city manager's office, as well as the finance office. And that concludes my quick presentation, so. Any questions?
I do not have anything else. We've only had one change, so it's, there's not a whole lot on our end, but we're here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council members?
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
I just want to point out to the general public, there is no tax increase in this budget. It's flat rate, same as last year. So just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Any other questions or comments? Y'all very much. Randy, Tanya, Tara, thank you so much, and we appreciate what y'all did for us with the budget again this year.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. So we will close the work session and move on to item J, which is comments of the city clerk. What do you have for us, Christie?
Thank you. Mr. Mayor and members of council, currently there are 2 upcoming openings for the school board, one in the eastern precinct and one in the western precinct. These openings will be advertised in the newspaper, the city website and social media, electronic sign, and the city television stations advertising deadline of applications. All applications, including the applications of the incumbents interested in reappointment, will be turned into the city clerk by May 12, 2025, at 4:30 p.m. On May 12, 2025, at 7 p.m., a public hearing will be held at the city council meeting, at which time all interested applicants will be read into record by the city clerk. Only those persons named during the For the adopted SOP, precinct council members will need to provide recommendations for those applicants that they would like to interview for their precinct by May 20th, 2025. Interviews will be conducted during the closed session at the May 27th, 2025 council meeting or another date as council chooses. At the June 9th, 2025 city council meeting, council will postpone until the July 14th, 2025 meeting.
Thank you, Christie. Any questions or comments, Christie? Okay, thank you again, Christie. Move on to comments of the city manager. Randy?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 3 items this evening. One is mostly for the benefit of the public, and I'll channel Ellie, but not nearly as good as she did it. The next public discussion in our support of your strategic initiative regarding sidewalks will be at the second meeting in May. We will plan an extended work session in which the engineer and I, mostly him, present information regarding the right-of-way study recently completed on Little Florida for the segment that had been previously identified by council. At that time, we will take direction on whether you're ready for us to advance to the next stage, which would be go out for an RFP for engineering, or if there's additional information you may need. So that will be the second meeting in May. In between now and then, beginning next week, if any council member would like to sit down with the engineer and I prior to that to go over the drawings, because some of you are probably very skilled at that, but some of you, and definitely me, are not good at reading survey plans, so someone like Sean can walk me through it. It's a lot easier to follow along. So please let us know if you'd like to have that advanced meeting, and appreciate all Sean's work to get us to this point. He is simultaneously also working on the longer-term project, which is the right-of-way surveys for Upper Poquoson Avenue. And we expect those on or around the beginning of July. The second issue, and council received from my office the recommendations of the police chief with regard, who is here, by the way, and thank you for, regarding the potential placement for the speed display signs that we talked about a couple of months ago. You'll recall at your direction or with your consent, we went ahead and ordered the first pair of those signs. They come in pairs, but that doesn't mean they have to be deployed in pairs. So my suggestion, unless otherwise redirected by council, is to go ahead. We've actually already ordered a second set of those signs, so that we'll have 4 of them. And my suggestion is to go ahead and deploy one sign on Pastor as indicated in the chief's memo, one sign on Browns Neck. Both of those roads essentially one way in and one way out. And then his third recommended road was Odd Road on the segment that contains the high school, and that gets independent traffic from both sides. And so the last idea is to deploy one each on each end of that road, so we can catch the people that almost always come in one way and the ones that almost always come the other. I don't really need a motion, but if council has a concern about that deployment, I'd like to know that now so we can talk about it before we get ahead of you, which is of course never our intention. So with that, I'll stop talking. I do have one more item after this, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. And just to restate, the manager's recommendations are based on the professional recommendations from Chief Cates and Police Department. Those recommendations are based on their professional expertise and data that was obtained through our new urban SDK program, so we're putting that to good use. So this is a data-driven decision. So we do appreciate staff's recommended expertise on that. And do we have any questions or comments from council members?
I had one question for the chief, I guess. With the information you passed out that I read, it talked about 2 different areas, like on Odd Road. So there would be one on either point on the Odd Road? Same thing would go for Pasture Lane and...
The suggestion was 2 on Odd Road, given the nature of Odd Road, and 1 each on Pasture and Browns Neck.
Okay, no, that'd be fine. When you said the 2, didn't think I thought we were only doing 1 on each, so 2 on Odd is good because of the schools there.
Yes, sir.
It's a good idea. Sorry about that.
Before I sit down, anything else?
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief Cates, appreciate that. And another thing I can comment on regarding the placement of a speed sign at each end of Odd Road. What we're trying to accomplish with the sections of sidewalks, the one section that's our priority on Little Florida, going from CVS down to Galen to funnel bike traffic and pedestrian traffic onto Galen and then Gene Marr into Odd Road. This will help slow traffic on Odd Road as people make their way from Gene Marr down to the high school, so they can pick up at the high school, go through the park, and pick up the sidewalk on the corner of Cedar and go all the way down the road to Trinity. So this will help us support that effort as well, to slow traffic and increase safety on Odd Road. Any other questions or comments from council members on that? We don't need a vote, but we just need to make certain that everybody's in favor. So do we have 7 head nods? Good.
All good.
Are you pleased with that, Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you all.
I appreciate the police chief's recommendations, and I think that what we're deploying will give us a real sense of, does this work well in our community? That doesn't mean there may not be others we may wish to do in the future, or even reposition them at some point. They're not portable signs, but they're also not etched in granite, so if we find that we need to move them, we can, and find we need more, we can afford them. So it'll be a nice test for us. The last item, I just wanted to reiterate that beginning as early as this coming week, we will be passing out all sorts of information with regard to the planned changes to our convenience site. That would include, but not be limited to, social media and web-based. As you recall from last time, there will be an updated calendar that will go to everyone's house in Poquoson before the switch is made. Additionally, at the convenience sites, both this month and next month, as well as the month of June, we will be passing out flyers to folks, letting them know about the changes. And I'm certain during the Spark in the Park event, which may not have that exact title by the time we get to it in June, we'll also have an informational for folks. So the public information efforts, they've been working on it since we met with you last, but you'll begin to start seeing it roll out later. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Randy. All right, we'll move on now to council directives. Debbie?
I don't have anything tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Keith?
Well, thank you. I got a couple things. First one, I attended the Easter egg hunt, and although I was not one of the age groups, it was very enjoyable to watch all the children there. Just kudos to Parks and Rec and to MES Baptist Church. I mean, I parked at the high school and walked to the woods there, and it was hard to get through without stepping on an egg. There were so many eggs out there, but the children really enjoyed themselves. Notable was one young fellow. They were asked to only collect 8 eggs so that everybody would have a chance to get some eggs. And he came back with a big basket full, really basket full. And someone asked him, would you mind giving those, I think it was Gretchen, would you mind giving some of those so we can share with those? He goes, no problem. He poured them all into someone else's basket. It was really great. And then he went out and got some more, I think. But it was really great. Also, for those that were able to, if you didn't see it, you probably heard it over the weekend. The Air Power over Hampton Roads was this weekend, and that was a great thing. I was able to go over as part of my position on the Langley Civic Leaders Association, and enjoyed myself, took my family over there as well. My daughter, having not seen one since she was in middle school, and was able to bring her children over there and just watch the nice fireworks that go on, so to speak, for airplanes that fly around. I think Carrie and I would enjoy it a lot. I did. It's been a long time since I've seen those airplanes fly. Other thing, talked about the food pantry last time. We are retiring several of our older members, and those that would like to help with the food pantry the second Thursday of every month at MES Baptist Church. We're looking for more regular volunteers, just about 8 people, to be able to help the rotating volunteers would be really, really great. So if you want to give up basically a morning a month, that's the perfect place to do it. We must have done something good. I noticed that on the 14 April council meeting, when I went back and reviewed it on the TV, that we had over 1,000 views, when we usually only average about 130 or so. So must have done something good last time, or something bad, one or the other. I also wanted to thank the city for, in the weekly, you put out information from the Commissioner of the Revenue regarding the real estate and property tax. Very, very helpful. Thank you very much. I made a copy of that just specifically. Also found several, we do get feedback for those that watch and listen from citizens on certain things that they like and don't like, more often things they don't like. And I thought I'd address some here. One of the comments made by this individual was, we don't want money spent on a community center that no one will use. And I would like to say, I do not want to spend money on a community center that no one will use either. But I think if we have one, it will be used. It'll be used by a lot of people. And that's why it's in our strategic plan, and that's why we're backing it. So no offense to this young fellow here said that. And he also went on to say we want sidewalks. And again, if he read our strategic plan, he knows that we too want sidewalks. So good on that. And that's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Keith, thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Freeman?
Just a couple of things. wanted to point out that we awarded 2 Best in Virginia awards tonight, right here in our little city, and that's statewide competition. And we had a high school student and our library that won those awards out of the entire state. So I wanted to say congratulations. And earlier when we were having the budget discussion, I said that there was no tax increase. There's no tax rate increase. Your actual taxes depends on the value of your personal property and real estate, or real property. So I just wanted to clear that up. I should have slipped the word rate in there, and I didn't. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Appreciate it. Jeannie?
I just wanted to say that, just because I'm not on the Parks and Rec Board anymore doesn't mean it's not near and dear to my heart. So I have a couple things for them. This past week, on Thursday of last week, they had the unveiling or the ribbon cutting for the Pet Memorial Rainbow Bridge, and it was a good event. It was well done, well attended by a number of people. People that young Mason knows from Yorktown, from other activities he does. Different troop leaders from multiple troops were out there representing from their council, and so on. And it was really, really great to see. And we went out walking after that, and they'd already poured the concrete for the picnic pavilion. So if you have not been out there, they're constructing the picnic pavilion. And of course, that's our precinct. I mean, it's really in Central, but it's kind of the western part because we don't have one. It's ours, not mine. Anyway, I love seeing that so many cars are out in the parking lot using that, walking their dogs, families out there. I did want to mention, Graham's family had donated a bridge not a bridge. They donated a bench that is along the pathway, and it's a wonderful. It's like double length, which is fantastic. My church also donated a bench, and they're going to put it down there by the Rainbow Bridge, because it's a slightly different design that they picked out. Those are available for you to donate. So reach out to Parks and Rec. It was not expensive, and you too can have a memorial for a loved one or just because you love our home. So Two Tree, wonderful. Get out there. You're missing something if you haven't been out there. So right now, pool passes are available, ongoing. The swim lessons, the registration is open right now. You have to do that sign up in person at the municipal building where Parks and Rec is located. This coming Wednesday at 6 o'clock, if you want to be on the swim team, young people, that's going to be at Municipal Park behind the municipal building at 6 o'clock. Is where they'll have that registration. And we just opened, Angie.
Summer camps.
I know you're excited. Summer camps. And so, although they were posted, Friday, Saturday, somewhere in there, registration opened tonight for summer camps. And with all the return to work mandates that so many families are experiencing, guys, get your kids in those programs. There's only so much Vacation Bible School to go around. And then I wanted to mention, it's not until June 27, but that's that save the date for Picnic in the Park. And that's 5 to 10 at night. The high school chorus concert, which is absolutely a wonderful event. Our show choir, I've mentioned before, did a clean sweep of awards, best costumes. They've gotten best director earlier in the year, best show, best choreography, best singers, the whole thing. It's been a while since we've seen that, not since my daughter was in show choir. So it was really, really great. You can see that concert yourself. That concert's at the end of May, so you're going to hear it from me again, May 27th at 7 p.m. And then they do a fundraiser every year, which is a great spaghetti dinner where the seniors get to say goodbye by having their senior solo night. And that's coming up at the very beginning of June. So I hope that more than just my family is out there from this table, and maybe this audience too, out there cheering on those seniors. Even though we don't have students in our own family still in school, it's a wonderful concert to go to, or opportunity for you to cheer on those students. I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Jeannie. Appreciate that. Angie?
All right, thank you. I would like to start off by just my appreciation to Jessica and all of the library staff. They do such a great job, and, my kids love it. My little one goes to the Pause to Read. My older one does a teen advisory board. She'll be joining you with the Hunger Games book club this week. And in fact, I just dropped off her application for summer volunteer just before this meeting. So if you have a rising 7th grader up who wants to get some volunteer hours, give back to their community, the library has some time slots that they can come weekly and volunteer for the library. So that's a wonderful opportunity. Also, I would like to just say how proud I am of Ellie Stevens and her interest in civics, and I'm really proud of her for getting up here and reading her essay, and hopefully she will be coming up to the podium or sitting here someday with a continued interest in local government. The Kiwanis Pig Roast will be this weekend at the old Wells Fargo building on Saturday, corner of Victory and Wythe Creek. That is where they have the tents. You can sit down and eat there or take it to go. There will be meals, there will be sandwiches, or you can purchase bulk barbecue, and that'll be the last time before graduation that bulk barbecue is available. So take advantage of that. If you want to see me, I have discount tickets available for $1 off, and you get to skip the line. And I'm really excited about next month's discussion about the sidewalk right-of-ways. And I think that's about what I have today. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Angie. Mr. Southall?
Yes, before I get started, Jeannie, the concert, May 27th, where?
That's at the high school.
At the high school.
Well, no, I don't know if it's at the high school. It might be at I think it's at the high school. It was written down as the high school. I'll check.
Okay,
Hold on.
thank you. And Keith, one question of you, the food pantry, second Thursday each month.
Yes.
I arrived last time, but when I got there, there was a whole bunch of people already there. Fortunately, the trucks hadn't come yet, so I did get opportunity to help load all the baskets and so forth on the tables.
Thank you.
But what time should people arrive if they're going to help there?
We looked at the volunteers there about 8:30, because every once in a while the truck comes on time, like it's supposed to. If it usually rolls in about 9:10.
Be there at by 9 or 9:10?
Be there about 8:30. That gives us a
Be there at
chance
8:30.
to meet
Okay.
everybody, greet everybody, and kind of tell them where they're going to be. Even though a lot of people do it every year, things change and forget what's happening. So yeah, 8:30. The people from MES are usually out about 7 setting things up. So
Okay.
we can always help with them if you come up a little bit earlier.
All right, very good. And I would like to second Angie's comments about those awards. Being the only library in the state to win the Gold Standard Award is fantastic, and Ellie did a fantastic job. But I'd also like to thank everyone who came out here tonight to pay attention to the city government, and all those at home who did the same thing. And I invite you all to invite your friends to do the same. Thank you very much.
And the concert, the May 27th concert at 7 p.m. is at the middle school.
Middle school.
At the middle school, and senior solo night, they don't have a location yet for that. It's always around 6 o'clock because it's at spaghetti dinner. It's typically in what did they call it? The auditorium room, but it's a small stage, the small stage room.
You need to buy tickets for that?
That one you will, but you can buy them, they'll be,
And where do you get them?
the students will be selling them. I'm sure it'll be on the website. I'll announce it next time
Okay.
because that's in June.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Mr. Southall. Only comment I have tonight is to recognize and thank Jason for his help, IT support. So Jason, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I think that covers everything for one night. Do we have a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. Christie, call for vote, please.
Councilman Fye? Aye. Vice Mayor Bunting?
Aye.
Councilwoman Emmett?
Aye.
Councilman Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Councilwoman Hubbard?
Aye.
Mayor Hooks? Aye. Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, Christie. We are adjourned.